biggest question surrounding the Eagles quarterback in 2026 is not about talent, it is about adaptation. The football world has its eyes fixed on whether this player can thrive in a system completely different from the one that made him a champion. The skeptics say the new scheme was not built for him. The optimists say talent always overcomes the system. But what do the numbers say? 3 specific statistics have just been laid out, and they answer that question in a way that is going to surprise even the harshest critics of this quarterback. 3 statistics, 3 dimensions of the game, and a conclusion that changes the debate about the Eagles' offensive future. Hit that like button right now and subscribe to the channel. This analysis matters more than it might seem. The Eagles are in a real offensive transition in 2026. The system that carried the team to the Super Bowl has been replaced by a more conventional scheme under new offensive coordinator Sean Mannion, a style that demands a quarterback more dependent on the passing game, more oriented toward pre-snap reads, and more comfortable operating from the pocket. In the middle of that transition, the quarterback who needs to run this system is also navigating the most important season of his career from a contract standpoint. He has $51 million guaranteed in 2026, a number that drops to just $22 million in 2027. The next contract Jalen Hurts signs with the Eagles will be determined largely by what he shows playing in this new system. And the quarterback's historical numbers suggest this transition may be far less traumatic than the pessimists imagine. Let's start with the contract context, because it completely changes how this season needs to be interpreted. Hurts is in year 3 of a 5-year deal. The dramatic drop in guaranteed money between 2026 and 2027 is not a coincidence. It is a structure that creates a natural deadline for a decision. If the Eagles want to keep Hurts long-term with real financial security, they will need to show that commitment soon. And Hurts knows it. Every game in 2026 is, at some level, a silent negotiation with the franchise about who he is as a pocket quarterback, because that is the version of him the next contract will need to reflect. Not the version that piles up rushing yards, the version that wins games with his arm inside a more conventional system. And that is exactly where the 3 statistics come in. What will Sean Mannion's new system require? 3 main elements: frequent play action to create space and open passing windows, receiver motion before the snap to create defensive confusion and identify coverages, and more throws through the middle of the field, between the hash marks, where the risk is higher but so is the reward. These are 3 aspects the Eagles' previous system did not exploit systematically, and they are exactly the 3 aspects where Hurts' historical statistics tell a far more positive story than the public narrative suggests. The first statistic is about play action, and it dismantles the argument that Hurts cannot play in more traditional systems. In 2025, inside a scheme that used play action sparingly, Hurts completed 71 of 112 passes in those situations, a 63.4% completion rate for 806 yards, 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a passer rating of 97.5. Over his 5 full seasons as a starter, his completion rate in play action is 65.7%, with 36 touchdowns against just 14 interceptions, and a passer rating of 100.5. Over the last 2 seasons, 141 of 208 passes, 67.8%, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a passer rating of 107.3. The most revealing data point of all? Hurts is consistently more efficient in play action than when he operates without it. Mannion's system will use play action as a central pillar of the passing progression. And for Hurts, that could be a gift disguised as a change. Why does this matter so much? Because play action is not just a single play call, it is an offensive philosophy. When a system uses play action frequently, it forces linebackers to hesitate, creates larger windows for receivers running routes, and allows the quarterback to throw with greater confidence into openings that the scheme actively generates. Or a quarterback who has been criticized for his ability to quickly diagnose defenses in static pocket situations. Frequent play action works as an amplifier of his best qualities, because it simplifies the reads while simultaneously creating real space on the field. If Mannion uses play action the way Shanahan and McVay systems typically do, Hurts may be stepping into exactly the kind of structure that maximizes what he already does well. The second statistic is about receiver motion, and it tells a story of consistent evolution over the years. In 2025, Hurts set a personal record: 217 passes attempted when the Eagles had a receiver in motion before the snap. The result was 141 of 217, 65%, 1,479 yards, 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a passer rating of 93.1. In 2024 with motion, the numbers were even stronger. 69.3% completion rate, 13 touchdowns against 2 interceptions, and a passer rating of 116.6. Over the last 2 years combined, Hurts has thrown 21 touchdowns against just 4 interceptions in motion situations, a passer rating of 103.7. And the most encouraging pattern of all? He has improved in this area every single season. Motion is a central element of any modern zone-blocking offense, and Hurts is becoming progressively more dangerous in that context. The third statistic is the most provocative, and also the one that carries the heaviest weight heading into 2026. Throwing through the middle of the field, between the hash marks, is the area where Hurts has been criticized most consistently throughout his career. The perception is that he avoids that territory, favors the sidelines, and gives up opportunities for first downs by not attacking the interior of opposing defenses. That perception has some basis in fact. In 2025, Hurts attempted just 28 passes between the hash marks over 17 weeks, a number that ranks among the lowest of any starting quarterback in the league. But the numbers when he actually threw there tell a completely different story. 71.4% completion rate, 3 touchdowns against 2 interceptions, a passer rating of 98.1. Over the last 2 years, 76.6% completion rate. Since 2022, 77.9% completion rate, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a passer rating of 123.7 that ranks second in the NFL over that span, behind only Lamar Jackson. Hurts' problem in the middle of the field was never efficiency. It was volume, and Mannion's system promises to deliver exactly the volume that was missing. The one honest caution here is sample size. 99 attempts between the hash marks over 4 seasons is too small a number to draw absolute conclusions. Any statistical evaluation built on a limited sample carries real margin of error. But there is something important to acknowledge within that limitation. The problem was never Hurts' inability to throw efficiently into that region of the field. It was how infrequently the previous system asked him to do it. When he threw there, it worked. When Mannion's system demands more of those throws in 2026, the question is not whether Hurts can execute them. It is whether he will execute them in enough volume for the numbers to carry definitive statistical weight. Everything points to yes. There is still one element that the statistics alone do not fully capture: Hurts' capacity for adaptation throughout his career. He has had essentially a different offensive coordinator every year in the NFL, and through every change, he found ways to produce. The transition to Mannion's system is not the first time this quarterback has had to learn a new offensive language from scratch. It is the most significant, because the system is more different than anything he has ever operated, and because the contract stakes have never been higher. But the historical pattern of adaptation exists, and it cannot be ignored in this equation. With play action, motion, and throws through the middle as the 3 pillars of what Mannion will ask for, and with the numbers showing that Hurts has been efficient in all 3, the case for optimism is more solid than the public debate about this transition has suggested. The 2026 season will reveal whether those efficiencies in smaller samples hold up at greater volume. But the existing data does not support the pessimism. It supports the very real possibility that Jalen Hurts has, statistically, everything needed to thrive in exactly the kind of system Sean Mannion is about to install. Do you believe the numbers prove that Hurts will master the new system? Or does the small sample size in some of these situations still leave real doubts about what happens when the volume goes up? Drop your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back later to keep you updated with the latest Eagles news.